and requires a company that's set up as a limited legal liability company, generally speaking, you're going to be protected. Now, if I were advising you, I'd tell you to do two things, which I think you've addressed. Is number one, have insurance. Number two, set up the proper legal structure. And if you get that and you do it correctly, and you execute all the things that are required by law, sometimes it's meetings, it's documented minutes on certain policy decisions, it's documenting your capital contribution, it may be having a stock certificate or a membership certificate. If you do all of those things, then generally you're going to be protected from liability. You with me?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we can talk further, Floyd, but what I try to do is conceptually just break it down for you and say, in essence, if you're doing all the right things, and the right things, that's a relative term, and that's why I say to most people, you need coaching. But if you're doing all the right things, then you ought to be able to sleep at night because you got a limited liability company. And your property, now here's the key, your property needs to be title to that limited liability company. That's the other aspect of it.
Two of the properties I have 12 properties.
Okay.
And when I filed my taxes, there's a section in your taxes that I forgot, the form that you use when we do our joint tax returns.
Probably a Schedule E?
Yes, I think that's it.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
That's how we're doing it. And my accountant, hopefully I have the right one, has been filing it, and I'm always operating somewhat at a loss, so, but some of the other properties are in my name, so I'm thinking that they're going to say, oh, well, you own this, you own that. Although you own this corporation, they're going in Florida, they're going to try to force me to sell the property and to pay this judgment or whatever it is. Now, I'm talking to some other guys that I know that are in business. They had mentioned something to me about trying to put it in a trust. And then when I went on the web, I saw revocable trust and irrevocable trust. And then, and I just started reading this a day or two ago, and it seems like when you put it in an irrevocable trust, you can't sell it or get off.
I got you. Hold on one second, Floyd, because I don't want to lose people that are listening. Because see, you've gone from intro to advanced. Now, let's just give some folks because we can start off with a limited liability company. That's what we started talking about, right? And now you've raised the bar because you now are starting to talk about estate planning. And that's okay, because I'm good with that. But I just want to make sure our listeners understand that the first line of protection, the first line of defense is this limited liability company. Now, if you say to yourself, well, who's the owner of that limited liability company? Who holds the stock, so to speak? Well, that's Floyd. Well, what if something happens to Floyd? God forbid. What if something happens to Floyd? Well, there's a couple of ways that we can approach it. One is a will. And in Floyd's will, he says, any assets that I own upon my death are transferred to my